Hi, Miss B's class. This is Mrs. Keeter. I'm here to read you a story that will help you complete one of the activity pages in the social studies classwork packet that I made for all of you. Okay, this is part of something that we would have done in the classroom together. And as we all know, unfortunately, we didn't get that time together. Okay, so I'm going to read this story. It is from a series of books called Children in Our World. It is by Louise Spilsbury and Hannah Kai. This one is called Global Conflict. And this book has some really beautiful illustrations. You'll see we have our title page, again with our title and our author. And then we have our table of contents, so if we wanted to go back to any of the topics, we could go back there and just see what page that it's on. Okay, we're starting with the first topic, people in conflict. People around the world belong to different groups. They can be part of a family, a school, and maybe a club or team too. People also come from different countries and religions. Most of the time, different groups live side to side and in peace. People don't always get along though. When they don't, they come into conflict. They may fight or try to hurt each other. When we see news about conflicts around the world, it can make us feel sad, angry, and scared. This book will help you make sense of what's happening. Why do conflicts happen? When people argue, they can usually solve their problems fairly quickly by talking and coming up with a solution. Conflicts happen when groups of people or countries cannot solve their problems by talking and they start fighting instead. Conflicts may also happen when one group or country tries to take land from another, or when people fight to stop others from being hurt or from being treated badly. Some people think that everyone should live the same way that they do. They may try to get other people to share their beliefs and customs. If they try to force other people to follow their rules, this can also cause conflict and violence. What is war? During war, different groups battle with each other until one side gives up or loses. Sometimes the war stops because they've been able to talk through their problems. Leaders decide how, where, and when to fight their enemy. Soldiers attack each other using weapons and bombs. People from both sides who do not fight in the war are called civilians. Most people believe that war is bad and that it is better to solve problems by talking. But sometimes people go to war because they think it's the only way to stop bad things from happening. Soldiers who fight in wars do so to protect the things and people they care about. What is terrorism? Terrorism is when people carry out acts of violence to get attention for their ideas and aims. Terrorists are people who feel badly treated or disagree with other people's beliefs. Sometimes terrorists act alone, and other times they are part of a bigger group. Terrorists hide and use bombs and other weapons to hurt people in public places such as airports and train stations. Terrorists want to scare people to get the world leaders to do what they want. But it's important to remember that the chances a terrorist will hurt you or the people you love are very, very small. What happens in conflicts? People on both sides of a conflict can be injured or killed during a war and terrorist attacks. Homes and belongings may be ruined during fighting. The places where people work, worship, or study may be burned down or destroyed. Sometimes people leave their homes to escape terrible fighting or violence. They go to find a safer place to live and to have a better life. People who leave their home country because their lives are in danger are called refugees. Changing lives. Conflicts can change people's lives forever. People have to find new homes, and roads and bridges and buildings need to be repaired. Refugees have to find somewhere new to live and work. They also have to make new friends and often learn new languages. After a conflict, people may feel scared and sad for a long time. Imagine not being able to go to school. When schools are destroyed, children lose the chance to learn and play together. So teachers may have to give classes in unusual places until a new school is built. People who help. A charity is a group that helps people in need. Charity workers bring clean water, food, blankets, and tents to people who have lost their homes. They comfort people who are upset. They bring doctors, nurses, and medicines to help people who are hurt. Governments and charity workers also help people get their lives back to normal. They find homes for refugees and pay for the materials needed to make new buildings and repair power lines. They also bring tools and machines so people can work again. Keeping people safe. Rules keep us safe. At school, there are rules to stop you from hitting or bullying others. The world also has a set of rules or laws about what happens in wars. These laws protect children, civilians, injured soldiers, hospitals, and places of worship. Most people obey these laws during war. If they do not, they can be punished. They may be put in prison for their crimes. Some countries may stop buying from and selling to a country that breaks war laws. This can make the country obey the laws again. Ending conflicts. It's good if you can solve arguments on your own, but sometimes you may need an adult's help. There are people who help solve world conflicts too. The United Nations is a group of countries that work together to end wars and protect civilians. The United Nations and world leaders try to get the two sides in a war to talk. They help different groups find their way to resolve their problems without hurting each other or other people. They try to solve problems with words, not weapons. Avoiding conflicts. It is normal for people to disagree sometimes. The important thing is not to let an argument turn into a fight. If it helps if people can stay calm and say what they think in a polite, friendly way. If people shout and say mean things, both sides can lose their temper. If everyone listens carefully to each other, it helps them understand how they can feel. Then they can come up with a compromise. That's when each group gives up something to come to an agreement, like when sports teams agree to share a field rather than fight over it. Understanding others. One way to avoid conflicts is to better understand each other. We are all the same in a lot of ways. We all need a home, food, water, family, and friends. We all deserve to be safe and to choose our own beliefs. Understanding others helps us to be respectful to each other and live together in peace. It is natural to feel angry when we see people being treated poorly, but we shouldn't blame a whole group of people when a few people do something wrong. If one student stole a computer from your school, it would be wrong to say that all the children in your school were thieves, wouldn't it? Talk about it. It's good to learn and care about world conflicts, but it's bad to worry about them too much. If you are upset, talk to an adult you trust about how you feel. He or she can help you. It also helps to think about what's good in the world and to do things that you really enjoy, like playing with friends. Most people are caring and kind. The main reason we see conflicts in the news is that they don't happen very often. You and your family are not at great risk of danger. Remember, there are a lot of clever people working to stop wars and terrorism to make the world a safer place for all. How can you help? It feels good to help people. There are lots of things you could do. You could collect food or clothes to give to refugees. You could have a bake sale or put on a show to raise money for charities that help people in conflicts. Or you could write a letter to the government asking them to help. What ideas do you have? Okay, and at the end of this book, there's some other books about this topic, some websites you could look at, and a glossary for some terms that you may want to look up, okay? And after you have seen this video, I would recommend that you get to your social studies packet and look over the activity. And if you struggle with any of the activity, I would definitely recommend going back through the video to listen to parts of the story that may help you understand the activity.